Eileen Gu gets hero's welcome in hometown of San Francisco. Eileen Gu gets hero's welcome in hometown of San Francisco originally appeared on the Sporting News. Add the Sporting News as a preferred source by clicking here. Olympic freestyle skiing star Eileen Gu returned to her hometown Saturday night and received loud cheers while serving as Grand Marshal of the annual Chinese New Year parade in San Francisco. The San Francisco native became one of the most talked-about athletes of the last two Winter Olympics after choosing to represent China rather than the United States on the global stage. The decision sparked criticism in some corners of American media even as Gu's international profile continued to grow. On Saturday evening in Chinatown, however, the atmosphere told a different story. Gu served as Grand Marshal of San Francisco's Chinese New Year parade, one of the largest Lunar New Year celebrations outside of Asia. As the parade wound through the city streets, spectators leaned against barricades and lifted phones into the air hoping to capture a glimpse of the Olympic champion. Riding in the back of a red Mustang convertible, Gu smiled and waved as the crowd called out her name. Parents lifted children onto their shoulders for a better view while cheers followed her car along the route. Among the spectators were a number of excited middle school students from Catherine Del Mar Burke School, where Gu graduated in 2017, cheering on their school's most famous alum. For many along the parade route, Gu's international identity was exactly what made the moment special. "I love how she represents the city," one attendee said in video footage from the Associated Press. "She represents China and the US. It's very diverse. That's her identity, both countries, so she gets the best of both worlds." Ahead of the festivities, Eileen reflected on the honor during an interview with ABC7 in San Francisco. "This is a special thing to be Grand Marshal and be part of it," Gu said. The 22-year-old superstar also spoke about the connection she still feels to the city where she grew up. "Growing up in San Francisco, the Chinatown atmosphere is so special," Eileen said. "Every time I see the lanterns hanging and smell the food and see the people walking around, it reminds me of home." Family traditions during the holiday remain meaningful as well. "Chinese New Year is probably the biggest holiday in Chinese culture," Gu added. "I remember growing up making dumplings with my mom and grandma in San Francisco and learning how to roll the dough." More, Yuda Leerdam owned the podium but her sisters found their moment too. Gu also shared a New Year's message for those celebrating the holiday. "I wish everybody a magical, wonderful and prosperous year of the horse, a lot of health to everybody and their families and just joy." Eileen has won multiple Olympic medals across the 2022 and 2026 Winter Games and remains one of the most recognizable athletes in freestyle skiing. Eileen Gu laughs off gold lost question and reminds the world who she is. Debates about her Olympic allegiance continue online. In San Francisco, the critics were hard to hear over the cheers. Title: Snow, Silk, and the Golden Gate, Eileen Gu's hero's welcome in San Francisco. On a cool afternoon in the city by the bay, a familiar fog rolled gently over the red towers of the Golden Gate Bridge. The breeze carried the salty scent of the Pacific, mingled with the distant cheers of a crowd gathering along the waterfront. But this was no ordinary day in San Francisco. The city had come together to welcome home one of its brightest young stars, Eileen Gu. She had conquered snowy mountains thousands of miles away, but today the spotlight belonged to the place where her journey began. The girl from the Bay. Long before the medals, the headlines, and the roaring stadiums, Eileen Gu was simply a girl gliding down the slopes of the Sierra Nevada. Born and raised in San Francisco, she grew up in a world where cultures blended as easily as the fog with the sun. Her mother, a Chinese immigrant who valued discipline and education, encouraged curiosity and ambition. Weekends often meant long drives from the city to Lake Tahoe, where the snow sparkled under bright California skies. It was there that young Eileen first discovered the thrill of skiing. At first, the slopes were playgrounds. She laughed as she tumbled into powdery snowbanks, her bright jacket flashing against the white landscape. But something inside her soon changed. She wasn't just playing anymore, she was chasing something. Freedom. As the years passed, her playful jumps turned into gravity-defying tricks. Coaches noticed. Competitions followed. And the girl from San Francisco began transforming into a world-class athlete. a star on the world stage. The moment that changed everything came at the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing. Under the cold lights of the Olympic slopes, Eileen Gu soared into the air, spinning with impossible precision before landing perfectly. Cameras flashed. The crowd gasped. The scoreboard confirmed what everyone already knew: history had just been made. Her performance in freestyle skiing stunned the world. With elegance and daring, she captured multiple medals and the admiration of millions. But beyond the medals was something deeper. Eileen represented a bridge between cultures, a young athlete who proudly embraced both her American upbringing and her Chinese heritage. Her story resonated across continents. Suddenly, the girl from San Francisco had become a global icon. The city prepares. News spread quickly that Eileen Gu would be returning home. In San Francisco, excitement grew day by day. Posters appeared in cafe windows. Schools talked about her achievements. Children brought skis to class for show and tell. At the heart of the city, near Ferry Building Marketplace, preparations began for a celebration. Banners fluttered in the wind. "Welcome home, Eileen." City officials announced a special ceremony. Local athletes, students, and community leaders would gather to honor the hometown hero who had soared to Olympic glory. For many residents, this was more than a sports celebration. It was a moment of pride. The crowd gathers. On the morning of the event, the sky was a brilliant California blue. The fog that usually hugged the coastline had drifted away, as if making room for the celebration. Thousands gathered along the waterfront. Children waved homemade signs. "Fly like Eileen." Parents lifted young skiers onto their shoulders. Some wore bright ski goggles despite the warm weather. Others wrapped themselves in scarves and jackets decorated with snowflake patterns. When the parade finally began, cheers erupted. A procession moved slowly along the waterfront streets. Musicians played upbeat tunes while dancers twirled in colorful costumes. And then, the moment everyone had been waiting for. Standing atop an open vehicle, smiling and waving, was Eileen Gu. A hero's welcome. The applause was thunderous. People shouted her name. Cameras flashed from every direction. Some fans wiped tears from their eyes. For Eileen, the moment felt surreal. These streets were familiar. She had walked them as a child, bought ice cream nearby, ridden bikes with friends along the bay. Now she was returning as a champion. As the vehicle rolled past cheering crowds, she placed a hand over her heart. The emotion was unmistakable. This wasn't just a celebration of victory. It was a homecoming.